If you've had the persistent thought in the back of your mind for years that you need to get back into weightlifting, then the problem isn't your motivation. Having that thought in the first place is already the motivational spark that you need. The problem might instead be your target. For a long time, I thought that the correct target was the execution of a comprehensive program. I would make these ambitious, high-volume bodybuilding-style splits: chest day, back day, shoulder day, arm day, calves, forearms, lateral raises, rear delts, multiple exercises for every angle of every muscle. It looked complete on paper, but in practice, it kept failing. I would start the week motivated, usually on a Monday, of course. I would crush the first workout and maybe even make it through a few days. But then I'd be so sore and so fatigued that I couldn't actually adhere to the plan I had designed. And then I'd take the rest of the week to recover. Wait for the next Monday and tell myself, next Monday, I'm going to do it right. And then I would repeat the exact same cycle. Start the plan, overdo it, fail the plan, and reset to the next Monday. And for a long time, I was kind of beat down psychologically as a result of this, thinking that I just needed more discipline. But eventually, I realized that something else was going on. The target was wrong. My target was the completion of this complicated program. And the program itself was essentially a wish list of these body parts that I wanted to improve. And this type of bodybuilding style thinking has its place if you're deliberately engaged in that type of pageantry. But for anyone trying to gain foundational strength, foundational musculature, trying to be capable within their body, which I would argue is the vast majority of people, this could be too much complexity, too much variety, and too much volume. So I changed the target. Instead of trying to complete the perfect program, I made the goal much simpler. Focus on getting stronger. And do so in an economical way by focusing on only a handful of foundational movements that facilitate general strength and general musculature. That became these 5 lifts: the deadlift, the squat, the bench press, the barbell row, and the overhead press. That's it. Those 5 lifts have been the heart of my weight training for the past 6 months. And the reason they work so well is that they require multiple muscles working together in coordination. They train large portions of the body at once, and because of that, they give you a long runway for progress. You can progressively overload these movements for months and years to come. That's much harder to do with an isolation movement. A lateral raise has its place, but if your whole plan depends on tracking a dozen little movements and trying to improve them all at once, the whole thing can become overwhelming quickly. But with the strength approach, the game becomes much simpler. Pick one of the 5 lifts, see what you did last time, and do a little bit more. The number that I've been tracking is the estimated 1 rep max. This metric is a composite of the weight and reps that you're performing. If I could deadlift a certain weight for 5 reps, that gives me an estimated 1 rep max. If I come back later and lift a slightly heavier weight for 5 reps, or get 1 more rep with the same weight, then my estimated 1 rep max goes up. That's progress. And that became the whole process. Rotate these 5 foundational lifts, train when recovered, and gradually and consistently push your estimated 1 rep max higher. Sometimes the progress might be small, maybe only a fraction of a pound. Other times you might feel unusually strong, and you might be able to push the number up more than expected. Just the other day, I added 10 pounds to my squat after barely getting my target the previous week. That's not something I expect every session, and usually smaller jumps are more achievable, but that day I had it. And that's part of what makes this a lot more fun now. It's intrinsically gamified. You know what you did last time, and you know what number you need to beat today. And when you beat it, the line moves up. So week after week, you're succeeding in small increments. And as a result, you want to keep going. And that's the psychological crux as to why this is so powerful. Because consistency is psychological. This approach to weightlifting requires 3 things. 1, you need to log the sets that you're performing. 2, you need to know your estimated 1 rep max at any point in time. And 3, you need to be able to choose sets whose weight and rep combination push your estimated 1 rep max higher. And you could do all 3 of these with paper, pen, and a calculator. But I've offloaded this cognitive overhead with a free app I built called Lift the Bull. And in addition to facilitating this process, the app kind of gives it more color. You could see your progress plotted over time. You could unlock strength milestones, and you could move up the strength tiers as a byproduct of getting stronger. So if you're still trying to get traction in weightlifting, give redefining your target a try. Instead of making the goal the completion of a perfect program, make the goal getting stronger.